Good evening, everybody, and welcome back. Simi here at Simi J Stitches, and it is a new video. This one's a little different. This one is my planner video. I am trying a new setup that holds my phone, so we will see how this goes. This is my 2020 planner. I will say that 2020 planner, just like 2020 year, has not gone the way it's supposed to. So I'm going to show you what all I had in the plans for this year, and what didn't work, what may just need to be modified a little bit, and then we will get into 2021 planner, super cute, and a little something else. So I feel like I made this work this year. I've been through a lot, and I did so as best I could. So I love this. You have so much magic within you. So a couple things that I have just kind of stuck up here. The first was my way of handling multiple groups. This is what I get questions about the most, and just to be completely upfront with you, nothing works 100%. So this has been my best effort this year. It worked fairly well. I'm thinking about maybe trying something a little different in my new planner, but this, I really wish, I'm sorry, like turn the camera just a little bit more. I really feel like this pretty much worked. So what I did was, this was a sheet I made. I have multiple groups, and so I have like a group code. So MS, I hope that's clear. It's kind of hard to tell from here. There we go. MS stands for Magical Stitches. D30 stands for the Cross Stitchers Journal and Daily 30. On some of them, not on this one, because later in the year I kind of ran out of steam with the multiple groups. I had ES for Enchanted Stitches, CA for Crystal Academy, just all the different groups. And the reason I did it like this is so that I could see, like, if this is 1 week, which up here is 1 week, I could see, okay, this is Magical Stitches that I was using Magic Study for. I could also use it here in Daily 30. So it was easier to see where I could double dip if I didn't have my groups separated, if they were close together to where I could see them all. So then I write the prompt, basic what the project needed to have, like, well, that's his best part. It's been too long now, I don't know what that means, but needs a tree, or it has to be in 10 different pieces. It's your favorite. Just something quick and simple so I know what the prompt was. And then in pencil, typically I would write here what I think I could work on that week for it, because I do change my mind sometimes as the week goes on. How many stitches I needed to complete the prompt. And I did have this column is for the date that it's due, but I ended up just kind of putting in the points there, because in a lot of the groups you need to tally your points at the end to make it easier for the people who are checking it, so or to be able to self-grade. So I know that each of these was this many points, and then when I finished I got that many total. So this was just kind of how I kept track of my groups this year. So on Sunday evening, I would sit down and I would write them all out, and then typically during a homework video, I would plan it out and write it down in here. I do hope to get back to homework videos next year, but they'll probably look a little different. I have a lot of people requesting that I keep doing them, but the way they were working last year wasn't working for me. So hopefully at the beginning of the year, we can see something like that, just a little different. So this is just a very basic page. You could write it in a notebook or whatever, just, you know, prompt, project, stitches. But again, this is so I could have the groups sitting next to each other to see where it's easiest to double dip stitches. Now, when I say double dip, because people have also asked me that, so these prompts for magical stitches, they have to be different stitches for each one. However, I can use the same stitches from this in Daily 30 because they're 2 different groups. So that's where you'll see some of that. This was where I had listed out all the groups that I was working on and what their little codes were. I did find it's kind of hard. Certain groups are a lot harder. This only really works with like the weekly challenges or the monthly challenges. I had a separate page that would say monthly at the top and then have the monthly ones. But it doesn't really work for like Stitchopoly and the different events in Semi Sane. So I would just kind of go through and look at those each time. Okay, let's see what else we got in here. So this planner comes with this breakdown of the calendar. It's typically, I would think, for like birthdays and things like anniversaries, things like that. I put my WIP's birthdays. So I started Family Patchwork on February 7th. The in parentheses is the year. So that was started this year. You can see here is 2018, but that's crossed out because I finished it. Aberdeenshire was started in 19, Sugar Cookies in 19. So you can see a lot of changes in the May because it's Stitch Mania, so it's always a busy month. I have this in my new planner. I'm going to do it again this year. And hopefully stick to it better, because the idea is that on their birthdays I work on them. You can see the highlights there and here. Those are ones I actually achieved stitching them on their birthday, but it wasn't very much. That was just a scrap piece of paper where I was jotting down which of the Plum Street samplers, the stacks I needed. And this, I think, is where I was planning out Mania a little bit. Okay. Something I didn't really do a good job of sticking to this year, but I am still going to include it in next year because I do like the way that it works when I don't have a crap year and don't focus on it. And that is, I color in the box for each new start or each finish. You can see I did pretty well for the beginning of the year, but then I lost my steam. And that you're going to see that a lot in this planner. So this year's planner video is probably not one of my best, but you know, it's real. It's real life. So I will be continuing this next year at a glance. Now this yearly stitch tracker, I really liked it last year. I thought I would stick with it this year, and I never did, as you can see. I ended up going a more digital route when it came to keeping track of my stitches. And then even with that, come like October, I couldn't keep up anymore. There was too much on my plate. So this, I don't think I will continue with next year. I have a different plan for where I'm going to keep track of these numbers. But we will get to that. This is just a page tracker for Heaven and Art Designs. I haven't kept up with this. This was actually from 2018, I believe, where you just color in when you complete a page. So those 2 pages are complete. I think I have another one complete on this project. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Here you see more of my homework notes. The sloppier the better. It makes me feel like I really did something. And you could tell this was early in the year because I am writing the dates, and then I just kind of marked the little points off to the side, and then the totals over here. But the highlighting when I complete it, the, you know, changing of information, I like the way it looks. It's messy, but it makes me feel more accomplished. So this really seemed to be what I stuck with for the most part. And you can see where this one says weeklies. One of them will say monthlies. I don't know which one. Here we go. Sorry, it's late / very early in the morning. So there's the monthlies. And here you can even see where I've got enchanted stitches. So let's see. Fairy Tale Lands 2, I could use it in Magical Stitches for Cage. I could use it in Daily 30 for any. I could use it in Enchanted for something that burns, because I think it had fire on it. So that was my easiest way to see where I could put the points and get the most out of my stitches. Okay. Here's where we're going to get into all the stuff that I didn't do. This was something Cheryl created. I believe it's on her floss tube so that anybody can do it. But of course, this is in and of itself was part of Cross Stitch and Daily 30, which is a closed group. And it's Stitch My Hours. So, like I would go from the time I was born until the end of the year. How many hours is that? And I would write it down, and then I think it's 1 stitch per hour, something like that. Maybe it's 100 stitches. I don't remember. But obviously I didn't even do it. And you're supposed to try and get through your whole life. So, then we have the scavenger hunt, which I can't really go through, but that's what that was. The prompts, really shouldn't be showing that. I guess the year's over, so it doesn't matter as much. Okay, I created all these trackers mostly for other people. I knew I wasn't going to really do anything with this challenge, but I created them for everybody else, so I printed them out and I had them in my planner. I've seen where there's a bunch of people creating this kind of stuff this year, so just look around in the groups and see what's there. I'm not creating any because, like I said, everybody else has already done it, so why should I waste my time? I can just enjoy theirs. This was the Ultimate Reading Challenge for School Magical Stitches. I did read 1 book, and I really think that's it. And the whole year, so it was like you were spelling out the characters. So I didn't use any of those trackers. The Read It or Stitch It. I thought this was an amazing challenge this year, but I just never got around to it. So, like, for example, Fantasyland, something that is based in fantasy, you could either stitch on a fantasy piece or read a fantasy book. You chose which one and put it in there. So there was lots of levels for that one. This was Stitching the Resorts. Something else in Magical Stitches I never did. There was a lot of that this year. This is just one of those years. I know that Vicki and I did try paring down, not having quite so many tasks for next year. This is the Outrageous Headmistress Challenge, where you try and stitch the books. How many words are in the chapter is how many stitches you have to do. I didn't keep up with that at all either. So, and these are each of the books. We've also changed the way that's going to work next year. So you don't have to put a picture every 1,000 stitches. You just, whatever works for you. So. As each of there was a lot of books this year. This was the Full Coverage Fanatics Landmarks Around the World. No, I'm lying. This was Semi-Sane Landmarks Around the World. I ended up keeping up with this one digitally, but you could see I started to keep up with it here. But some of these bigger stitch counts, it was hard to list all the projects because I do switch so often. But I would come back and color it once I got my little badge. I did get further down. I can't quite remember where. I did get more of this done, but then I kind of lost steam on it too, with everything that's been going on. This was just a divider. It's not actually a budget planner. That may even move into my new journal, depending on what I can find. This was just information for each of the groups. So this is the instructions for Myth and Magic. It was for round 2. Only a few things changed between each of the rounds, so I didn't really worry about continuing to print them out. And I am no longer in that group. Okay, January. I had started to kind of use my calendar the way that's supposed to be used, and planning out, like, I'm going to work on Hawk Run, or I started Hawk Run Hollow, Shores of Hawk Run Hollow, and let me see what that is. Hold on. Hello. It never fails when I record a video. I'm going to get a bunch of messages. Okay. So, I put in when the alphabet soups changed, even though I didn't actually participate in that one. Every 29th is a new start. I told myself to update my resolutions. That didn't happen either. I started to plan things out, and then I just didn't really stick with it, which is actually pretty typical of me. So this was Serial Stitcher and Semi-Stinging Stitchers. I did not come up with this. Somebody else did. I think it's super cute. So you were supposed to stitch, I don't remember exactly how much you were supposed to stitch was decided, but anyways, and then you're supposed to guess who you're supposed to stitch as much as you can, and then the murderer would kill off somebody who had stitched less than them, I think, and then you try and guess who the murderer was. It was a really neat game. I just didn't keep up with it on paper. Then I have these. Now this is something that was really important to me for the last couple years that I'm going to attempt to change up. So the first thing I did was I made sure I limited myself to less than 38 projects each month by having my understudy box, where some whips got held that I was not going to work on at all that month. And usually I tried to leave myself a few spaces for new starts. These for all new starts for January. So I had my list, and then whenever I would work on it each day, I would mark it off so that I could see how many days in total that I worked on something and what all I touched in the month. Because as you can see, these aren't getting any type of work on them. And then at the end of the month, I would tally it up over on the corner. 5 days with the circle means I completed it that month. So 7 days with the circle, I finished that one. This on the side was me just counting up my whips. I'm not quite sure why. But that's how many days I worked on each of them that month. So this is something I really want to do, but I think this year I need to come up with a better method, because you'll see in later months I don't keep up with this. So it's something I really like, but I just need to do a little differently, especially because I know that I'm going to have approximately 60 whips going into the new year, and I'm not going to do an understudy box quite the same way this year. So this limits how many I can list on this page. And so, I mean, I could just only list the stuff that I work on and then mark it. But anyways, I think I have a different solution for this year. 24 Hours of Cross Stitch, I did purchase her planner and printed out all the pages, even though I did not do any of them. This I thought was a neat place to kind of recap my month. So in January, I had 4 new starts. I had 1 finish, although it looked like I had 2 finishes. Anyway, I had 23 projects total. I did 17,672 stitches. That's 510 a day. January was a pretty good month. These were my goals. I needed at least 6, because I wanted to get 200,000 stitches for the entire year. That would mean I would need 16,650 per month. I did really well until the middle of the year. So I was on point to get it done, and listed out my new starts. This is a page, actually, I think I may print these off again, because I really like that, how neat and clean and everything it is. So I may use this again. This was the 24 hours of cross stitch. I'm just trying to do 24 minutes a day. I really like these just for fun ones. She had this last year. So 24 of your favorite designers, or 24 designers you'd like to stitch. It's something to sit down and make you think about your stitching, make you think, write out lists, and I don't know. I just really liked it, but even though I didn't really do it, I like the idea of it. This was the acrostic for last January. I did start to try and participate. It's not one I stick with very well. So these are just the planner pages that come with it. Okay, so this was, before I created those other sheets, this was how I was trying to do my homework. So I would list out the project that I needed to work on, and then each of the groups I could use it for, and then check them off. It worked out well in the beginning, but wasn't super functional. So I didn't stick with it for very long. I don't know what that note is. And that is it for January. February, I'm not quite sure what I was doing here. Forever and Ever and Alice, I was working on in the evenings, Autumn Wreath in the morning. I don't know why, but that's what I was doing. So that's the line. This is what I would work on from midnight to 6 a.m. and this from 6 p.m. to midnight, because those are the hours I'm here at work. So those are my stitching time. I don't understand that, but anyway. There was a event in Semi Sane called Self Portrait. You're supposed to give a fact about yourself after you're starting in post. I don't think I stuck with that for very long either. Here you can see my marks again, and I just did that little totaling thing off to the side because I guess I only printed January from the 24 hours across stitch planner that I bought. So I just wrote it on here. 35 whips came over from January. I worked on 19 of them. I had 1 new start, 0 finishes. That means I'd have 36 going into March. 17,523 stitches in the month. That's 604 a day on average. And I don't always stitch every day, so that's pretty impressive. I think I was working a lot back then. And as you can see, I just don't use a lot of the planner parts of it. It was these add-ins that worked really well for me, but I'm seeing that I need to do things a little differently next year. I really should have brought myself a drink because talking this much is drying out my throat. And it's super windy outside. So, I think June is when you really start to see. I did okay that month with keeping up. July maybe? Yeah, I just, the more hectic my life got, the less I kept up with this stuff. One of the things I like about the Happy Planner is the ability to move things around. So Choose My Whip was something that started in January, but they also had events in April, August, and I think December. I did not participate in December. But I'm able to take this page out and move it throughout the planner wherever I need it. So this would have been, oh, it's starting to rain. This would have been in the January section until January was over, and then I would have moved it to April and then August. So that's why it's sitting in the August section right now. And then you just pop it in there. This is why I function the best with the Happy Planner, because I change my mind all the time. I need things in different places all the time. Being able to make things come and go as I please works best for me. Being able to make my own sheets and just punch them and put them in here is what works best for me. So we get to, I have some more homework stuff, some monthly stuff. And then August, oh, I did a little bit in August. Not a lot though. Yeah, see, I didn't even finish dating August. At that point, I was just done. Just done with keeping up with a lot of different things. This is when I started my members program here on my YouTube channel. And so I'm trying to give them close to daily vlogs. I can't always vlog every day, but I was writing down when I managed to, so I could make sure that I was giving them enough content to warrant, you know, them paying a monthly subscription. Also, on my members channel, I do giveaways and I have lives. So I was trying to map all that out for myself. I haven't stuck with it real well because the rest of my year has been rough. But my members over there, they're great, and they have understood and stuck around despite the fact that I haven't given them as much content as I would have liked. But I'm hoping that will get better in January. I love this little plastic board. It's an easy way to find where I last had pages. It's supposed to be dry erase, but it really doesn't work like that. So it's mainly that it's this divider. I do have one in my new planner, but I could take this with me because it's pretty sturdy. So another thing I was doing was I was on my rotation. Thursdays and Fridays, I worked on something that I hadn't worked on in a while. So my way of keeping track of that is I wrote down all my WIPs, and when I worked on them, I would place an X. And so, and then I would try not to work on that one again until I had gotten through this list. Didn't always work. But that's what Thursday and Friday was focused on, whereas I could repeat these on Mondays and Tuesdays if I was using them for homework. I might try something like this again next year. I'm not quite sure yet, but these were just pages that came with this planner and it worked. So you can see that I reset as of June 1st, and then I got through all of them again for that month. Okay, and then I really think my planner just dies at that point because life. But, and that's why this was right here. So, oh, one more thing that was in here that I took out earlier was my WIP Go board. Again, I didn't completely keep up with this. Here, I ended up keeping up with my digital one a little bit better, but well, you can see the bingo there. I had a bingo there. I think I had another one somewhere. So, I actually haven't done my WIP Go board for next year yet, but you will see where it's in the new planner. So, more or less, my planner in review for 2020 is that life got in my way and I did not use my planner to its full potential, which also made me realize that maybe I needed to simplify it a little bit because there are going to be lots of times in life where things are too busy for me to keep track of 50,000 different pages. So let's see how I plan to do that. This is my 2021 Happy Planner. This one can be purchased at Walmart. I will admit it's really hard to find. I had to source it through a friend. I could find, they have 4 different sets with the different Disney princesses. I really wanted Belle, so I had to get a friend to purchase it for me and send it to me. So this is where you write your name. This is a quick overview of the entire year. Then we have those birthday spaces like I was telling you about. I need to fill that out with all of my WIPs. And I do have like all the start dates for my WIPs on my master stitch list. Here's that plastic thing I was telling you about. It's dry erase. I wish it worked well because having it to just jot down notes that you don't necessarily permanently want in here would be really nice. Here's my WIP Go board for next year. As you can see, it's not filled in. I've only planned out 4 of the pieces that are going to be on here. I'll get to it soon. It's not important. I know that a couple numbers have already been drawn, but I will randomly fill this in so it won't affect that at all. Here's my year at a glance again. I may reprint this one a little bit bigger once I figure out what I'm doing wrong. But year at a glance starts, year at a glance finishes. This one should stay blank next year because I'm trying new starts, but I'm also not holding my breath. So, and this is a small version of my master stitch list. I don't know why it printed with so much space up here, but it did. So it is front and back, and that's just so that I can quickly look at it if I need to see a date, what size the whip is, or cross it off if I finished it. I keep a copy digitally, but I figured this wouldn't hurt to have in my planner. Bell is January. So I'm hoping to do a little bit of planning out on the month. What I really need to do is not be afraid to write something and have to mark it out, because that's why I don't write things down a lot, is because I'm like, well, what if I change my mind? Write in pencil or just cross it out, because what does it matter? It's just paper. You can throw it away. It's fine. It's fine. So I'm going to try and plan out a little bit better this month. I'm not sure how that's going to look yet. I'm still developing a possible rotation. So that stuff will be reflected here. This is and I have it in January because that's when we're going to start working on it. And that is the Daily 30 Zombie Run. It's the yearly event in Cross Stitch Journal and Daily 30 that I'm really looking forward to. So I kept up with the scavenger hunt pages really well. So this is definitely going to see a lot of use this year. I guess I can show you the scavenger hunt since it's almost over. But basically, I would have a list of things I need to take pictures of, what project I used. I would put a check mark at my starting point. I would circle how many stitches I did, because you did it in intervals of 300, 400, or 500. Well, at least for this tier. How many entries that got me, and then when I posted my finished photo. So I kept up with those really well. I'm sure I will with this too. Okay, and then what I really like about this planner, and what I think is going to, like my last planner didn't have a weekly sort of anything. You either wrote on the month or not. This one has these weeklies broken down into like 3 parts, because this is all for the first. And so I'm thinking like Magical Stitches, Daily 30, Crystal Academy, or maybe 2 per box. So this is how I'm thinking about keeping track of my homework next year. And instead of, and kind of telling myself, okay, on this day, I'm going to do this prompt, this prompt, and this prompt, and plan it out a little bit more that way, instead of just the generalized sheet that you saw before. However, if I want to jump ahead or skip something, whatever, it's fine. Things can change and it'll be fine. So we have those weekly ones each week in here. So that is, I feel like, not a very good explanation of how I plan to work this next year, but it's the best I've got right now. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me, because I may have a better idea when I'm not trying to remember everything for a video. The other thing I'm doing with this planner, and I've done this a little bit in the past, but I kind of revamped it this year based on watching Nicole at Darvana Lee Designs. And that is my project records / well, that's what they are. They're project records. I've made these for years. So the records themselves are not new, but I used to keep these in the bag with the project, and you'll see like corners are creasing, it's starting to tear. It's just, this is really thin paper. I've learned a few things. So one of the things I'm doing is I've got them all in here, and we'll go through that in just a second, to where I can access them faster and easier, and they're like right there for me. The other thing I want to do is add some sort of calendar or something to the back, whether I tape it on or whatever, so that instead of trying to keep up with, well, I don't even have it, but this, where I have them listed and then marking the days, I will mark it on their own personal page when I pull that project out. And I have somewhere here, Sylvia Ward on Etsy, S Ward Designs. She makes these, which is basically the same thing, that already have the calendar on it. So you could just purchase them there and punch them in, put them in. I've had these for years. So that's why I'm still using mine, but I'm also going to be using hers. I'm just going to adapt some of mine rather than reprinting them all. The other thing is, this year I am making sure to buy heavier paper so that it holds up better. And actually you can see one of hers here where I'm going to be using it for Phantom of the Masquerade. So, and so this first section is all my whips. Everything that is currently in the works. I list the chart name, the designer. I have this, I just didn't go through and write the stitch count yet, but I'm going to. Location is if I get it out of a magazine or whatever, I put the name of the magazine and the page number. Fabric, what type of fabric, the stitch count or the count of fabric, the color, the brand, or like the hand dyer if that's the case. I have threads and beads in here, but I don't really use those spaces. The start date, the finish date, any kind of notes I want to add, like color conversions or who I got the pattern from, anything like that will go here. And then when I'm finished, I put a picture here, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So this is all my whips, and then I'm going to get a little divider thingy that I'll put right here. These are the stuff I currently have kitted up and ready to go, just in case I fall off the bandwagon next year with the no new starts. And then behind that, currently I have my finishes for this year, and you can see here where I said Home from Design Works was a gift from Lisa Lane. I also changed the thread, so I do have a note of that there. I don't know what that is, but anyway. So right now they're sitting in the back of this so that I'll eventually print off the picture and put it on here. And then when I am done with all of that, at the end of the year, after I do my finish parade, they will all go into this book where I have years worth of all my finishes. So it's basically like a scrapbook. So the big change there is not what I'm doing, but just how I'm keeping track of it. And I have it in the back of my Happy Planner in different sections. So that hopefully I can keep up with it a little better this year. So that's all I've got. I may create a couple pages or I may print out a couple pages that were made for like the Magical Stitches Yearly or things like that. But I need to make sure with myself that I'm actually going to use them before I do that. So that's all I have for you right now. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll try and answer them the best I can. And I hope y'all have a wonderful day and happy stitching.